Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome to Supercharged Fridays. How are you doing? You watching me live? Come into the comments and say hi. This is Career Happy Hour. This is what it's about. Every single Friday since January 2020. My name is Sonal Bahel, former human resources professional and now career strategist. This is what I've been doing for over 5 years. Hang out, get together, share what's on your mind. Is there anything you need a little help with? Maybe another perspective? This is what I'm here for. Let us get straight into it. How's your week been? Are you watching me? Is this working? Am I live? I'm gonna check. We never know with technology. It's always good. It's always a good idea to check on the tech that it's working. I seem to be live on LinkedIn. Are you watching me on YouTube? Is this working? If you're watching me on YouTube, give me a quick thumbs up that you're watching me on YouTube so that I know it's working. And as always, let us get straight into it. Just gonna check YouTube just to be sure. Seems to, I think YouTube is working as well. Okay, so if you got something on your mind, feel free to share and put it in the chat. Okay. And if you don't, that's okay. We can hang out. Hi. Yes, I'm live. Hi, Himanshu. How are you doing? Himangshu. I think I said that correctly. Himangshu. Not something you see very common. I know Himanshu, but Himangshu is a less common name. I'm sure you have a lot of fun correcting mistakes when people misspell your name. Right? And speaking of misspelling, people can misspell Jeff as well. Hey Jeff, how are you doing? We have Himanshu, where are you tuning in from? Is it in India? Jeff is tuning in from Ohio. Namaste, Jeff. Jeff can be Jeff. Jeff can also be Geoff, right? Jeff, short for Jeffrey, short for Jefferson. So kind of annoying to have one of those names that is commonly either mispronounced or misspelled. But it's life. How are you doing, Jeff? How is life? Thank you for letting me know. Appreciate that. Okay, amazing. Thank you, Rajkumar. Thank you for being here. So you got something on your mind? Let's get into it. If not, no worries. I'm glad you came. And if you're catching me on the replay, tough. I'll catch you next time because it's some things are better answered live, right? And if you missed it, last Friday was a very good, juicy session. We talked about should is not a word I particularly enjoy, but if you get the opportunity, should you go back to your former employer? And I gave her like a list of pros and cons, and it was interesting. I think that if you must share, the best way to ask a question is my problem is X, my ideal outcome is Y, my question is Z. That is easy for you. It's easy for me to understand in a limited amount of time. Or you may not have a question and you're like just hanging out. You like listening to other people's problems. And that's fine as well. I'm going to take a sip of tea, a cup of tea. Cup of tea is this whole big fat tea. This is my second cup in an hour. Cheers. Mm-hmm. Himanshu, you got a question. As per the latest Microsoft layoff, 6,000 employees. What's your thoughts on that? Yeah, I read about that, and there's quite a few people on who work in LinkedIn, I believe, who have been impacted as well. I have very specific views on layoffs, Himanshu. I don't know if you want to get into this right now. I share a lot more intimately inside my little newsletter, which goes out a couple of times a week. If you want to subscribe to that, we can get into that in a second. But I talked about this in quite some detail. I am pretty convinced that when companies, like, first of all, it's very easy to pass judgment because I'm on the outside. I don't run a company. I don't have that burden, and I don't have the stress that a lot of these senior leaders do who are leading companies. Having said that, now that I have that disclaimer out of the way, okay, I believe that I don't just believe, but there's a lot of proof as well. As per a researcher and professor at Stanford called Jeffrey Pfeffer, who's done a lot of research on this, and I talk about this in my newsletter, where there is a little bit of copycat behavior. Sometimes when one industry starts, the others kind of follow, but also within the industry. If one company does it, the other companies do it as well. Secondly, the research proves that actually, when there is a layoff, the company is worse off, not better off. And financially, it's usually worse off. And it'll realize, oh, we got rid of these people. Now we have to find the right people. Guess what? The right people are not cheap either. And sometimes they realize, oh my gosh, we actually fired the wrong people. We need to get them back. Those people are not going to come back as is. They'll be like, we want an increase. Like, this was stressful for us. I don't remember Salesforce or which company said, hey, if you come back, then we'll give you a teddy bear or something. It was some kind of joke. Don't quote me. I don't remember which exact company it was, but it's quite ridiculous. And thirdly, I'm reading about, it's the very early days though, but I'm reading about companies that are starting to regret doing massive layoffs because they thought that AI will be able to do a lot. And a very good example of this is in the sphere of customer relations, customer service, where people said, I don't want to talk to a bot. I want to talk to a human being. Duolingo got a lot of flack for that. And they're like, okay, we got it. We're listening. There's another company, I forget the name. I was reading about this yesterday, and they said, actually, we were wrong. We were wrong. And we're going to make sure, actually, we're hiring as strong as ever. So there are different ways to look at this. Okay. But I'm pretty sure that, and there's a fourth thing I want to share. I tend to see companies that are doing layoffs are quite often financially healthy, profitable. LinkedIn's, I believe, very profitable, right? So I don't quite know. Nobody really understands the logic. Like, there's a couple of these FANG companies. I'm not going to say which one. I have a very close friend in one of them, and he said he left that company a few years ago, and he's like, I know people who are extremely mediocre in terms of their performance. When this big layoff happened, I don't know if you remember, in 2023 January, they announced this massive layoff. Some of the worst performers continued to be there, and some of the best people who were, moving the needle and who were getting shit done, I beg your pardon, who were getting stuff done, were asked to leave after 17 years, 20 years. You know how it's not cheap getting rid of people with such a strong and long tenure. So I don't really know. Doesn't make a lot of sense. They probably have their reasons. They're not clear to me. I'm not talking about the reasons they state to analysts and in the press. I'm talking about the real reasons. Doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, I hear that. So feel free to, like, these are some thoughts I'm sharing. I mean, there's a lot more that goes into it, of course. But feel free to, like, I'm happy to have a conversation about this, but also I'm here, like, my thing is problem solving. So if you've got something on your mind and you need help with, let's get into it. Let's, like, I'm happy to roll up my sleeves and get to work. Hi, Sabine. Good evening. How are you doing? Any other thoughts coming up about layoffs or anything else? Are you in the middle of a layoff? Do you need any help? I kind of have experience with that. Unfortunately, I've been laid off 3 times. So I got a lot of empathy about when it comes to losing your job. But I'm also very good at, like, helping people find. That's kind of what I do. That's my jam. Actually, I run a group coaching program for people who are either in the middle of a transition and are, looking to make a better change, or they are in a company and they're just unhappy. And they're like, there has to be more in life. This is not it. So, yeah, if you want to know more about that, just DM me inside LinkedIn, and we can talk and we can see if what kind of help you're looking for. All right, good. Anything else on your mind? It's now 11, 12 minutes, actually. 10 minutes of me blabbing. If not, that's okay. I'm just going to check that I haven't missed anything. Because sometimes comments are not visible. Okay. No, I think every comment is visible. Himanshu, it seems like you're the one paying attention today, which is fine. Which is fine. Um, your question is, what are career aspects we can follow related to AI field? I don't quite follow the question, but I think focus on your area of expertise. This is what I would say, because there's so much noise about AI and it can be very easy to feel behind, you know, like everyone's got these skills and those skills, and what about me? I would say focus on, like, just stay in your lane and focus on how can AI help you in terms of productivity? How can it remove things that you don't enjoy doing so that the creative part you can actually focus on? So look at the area, right? You said you're working in a product-based startup. So how can AI help with that particular product in that particular startup? And be open to experimentation. So for example, you could be meeting 3 times a day because there's constant updates and iterations. Like, can AI record those meetings? We can be more efficient. We don't need somebody taking minutes. Can AI help us, giving us quick feedback much faster and much more sharp and much more precise than a human? So we keep the human, of course. Nothing can replace the human, but what can help in terms of augmenting it so we accelerate results? Focus on that part. There's like millions probably of use cases of AI in so many fields. Focus on your field. I don't know if that's your question. What are career aspects we can follow related to AI fields? I This is it. I'm no expert on any of this. I'm not an expert in tech. I'm not an expert in AI. I don't even like to think of myself an expert in career. I like talking about careers. I know a little bit about careers, but I don't know. And by the way, when someone says I'm an AI expert, really, AI is so young, and you're already an expert. Like literally, the thing they know could change tomorrow. So you could say I'm a chief AI learner. It's changing so fast. That's my rant. All right. Hi, Sabir. In times of instability, right? Yeah, I mean, whether it's India, Pakistan, or it's the situation in Israel, or Gaza, Russia, Ukraine, I would say there are certain companies that are and certain industries that will always be more directly impacted. I don't like to paint like a big picture and create an alarm and a sense of panic. But those that are in defense, in my opinion, manufacturing defense will sort of see a bit of a boom, right? There are those where the investors are very easily nervous when there is global geopolitical instability and they might pull back. I have a client who had an offer from a startup in Israel, and the offer was rescinded at the end of 2023, or I think at the start of 2024, because of so much instability, and that investor decided that their funds were better utilized elsewhere. So that kind of stuff does happen, yes. But I wouldn't say for everything, for everyone. I don't like to paint in broad strokes. Hey, Jeff, thank you so much. It's so kind. Thank you so much for being here. I was talking about you yesterday, I think. Yeah, you're very welcome, Himanshu. I hope this helps. All right, LinkedIn user, what's your name? I want to see your name. I don't like saying LinkedIn user. It sounds so impersonal. I'm going to see. Shankar. Hey, Shankar, what's up? I was jobless for 2 years, like a year and a half ago. Okay. And if there is ever a layoff at my place, I'd probably be that person who'd be least affected by it and will probably take a chill pill vacation. I got my emergency funds in place. Well done, Shankar. Good job. Good job. This is so important. There's two ways I want to talk about this. Number one is if you get laid off. And second is if you decide you're not happy. Why should it only be something that happens to you? What if you decide You don't like it there, right? What is this? What are these emergency funds? What have they given you? They've given you a choice, they've given you options. However, I will say this to anyone who wants to leave voluntarily: please remember something. It's going to take longer than you think. It's going to take longer than you think. Whatever number you have in your head, it's going to take me X number of months. I want you to double it. Okay. I don't want to be this negative Nelly, but I'm telling you how it is right now. And when you double it, figure out you have the financial cushion. Do you have the financial runway to last? Your rent, your mortgage, food, car payment, all of that. If you don't think so, be careful with the steps you take. And if you leave without a job in hand. But Shankar, I like where you're going with this. It's good. It's very, very good. Yeah, it does get good for you, man. It didn't get easier for me. I mean, like, I'm really happy for you, and you're a smarter person than I am. It didn't get easier for me. It actually got harder. All right. Ameya, you got a question? Let us get into it. How do people look at new opportunities in such an economic scenario, even if not laid off? Maybe someone calls you. I don't quite follow the question, Ameya, but maybe someone gives you a call and says, hey, we have this opportunity. Would you be interested? That means you have a very strong, robust LinkedIn profile. If you're getting more inbound, you're getting referrals, that's good. The LinkedIn profile is doing what it's supposed to do. Or if your resume is sitting in like a bank, like a job board, and it's sitting there and somebody's paying attention to it and they contact you, if you're getting those inbound inquiries, that's good. Or you might see an opportunity and you might be like, I have a job already, but I'm going to apply. Apply. You're not losing your current job. You got nothing to lose, right? How do people do it? Short answer, I don't know. Curiosity. I'm oversimplifying here, but that's what I would say. Hey, Biliana, how are you? Good to have you here. It's been a while. Himanshu, your startup is hiring? Oh, that's fab. Thank you so much for sharing. This is one of the reasons I started Supercharge Fridays, right? For like a little bit of like networking, like, like you're standing next to the water cooler chat when people get there and they're chilling and chatting. This is kind of like that, except it's virtual. So if anyone's interested, Himanshu, thank you so much. You're giving your private information, dude. Not, I wouldn't recommend this, but okay. It's okay. Some people can abuse it, but thank you so much for sharing. And if anyone's interested in his company, contact Himanshu. All right. Okay. Hey, Bharat. Social media jargon, AI enthusiast, AI evangelist. You saw my face. Is your question about that? Happening with my tech. Am I back? Was I frozen? I got a weird notification. Am I back? I'm back. Any real impact of AI tools? Oh, huge, man. Huge, Bharat. AI is my assistant. Oh my God. I can think of at least 5 use cases. Newsletter, of course, helps me streamline my thoughts. Interview. I do mock interviews for my clients, right? So I have an AI note taker. I'm interviewing my client as if I'm the recruiter or the hiring manager. And then when we're done, I upload the transcript, and then I also upload the job description as well as the client's resume, all of it. And I ask very specific questions, and ChatGPT is amazing. I'm like, what did I miss in terms of the mock interview? It says, this was great, Sonal. You did a great job coaching here. These are some things that he can talk about more, and it's shockingly accurate and useful. What else? Every single client of mine that works with me has a personal brand questionnaire that they have to fill out. And I use that along with their resume as well as job description, upload all of that as well. And I say, what are 5 extremely intelligent questions my candidate can ask during an interview, this particular interview? And this is the LinkedIn profile of the people Oh my God, it's amazing. It is so helpful and such a fraction of the time. Interview prep for my clients as well. You know, whether it's ChatGPT or Notebook LM. AI helps me with podcasts as well, although podcast is not that much of a priority for me right now, but it helps me with titles, transcript, summary. I do a little bit of homework on my clients. It helps me with that. Really, honestly, every day. I use it 20 times a day. Content, not just content, way more. All right. I mean, I'm sure I'm missing a few things. It really does. I mean, I have a virtual assistant, but he'll also take some of my long form content and he breaks it up using AI as well. Hey Serena, how are you? Good morning from California. I was not offered the position I interviewed for last week. I submitted over 50 application packages. Oh, I'm sorry, man. That sucks. I know how excited you were about that one. Uh, what do you mean 50 application packages? You mean with these guys alone? Or you mean overall 50 applications? You mean in the last 1 week? Explain to me what you mean by that. And secondly, I'm like as much as this sucks, and I need you to take a day and just brood over it. It's okay. Feel the feels. It's all right. I want you to focus on what are some things you're taking away from this, because every single experience is useful. Even where you didn't get selected, I would say is more useful. It teaches you a lot. Are there certain ways you can show up differently, show up better? Were you taken off guard? Were there any curveballs? Think, okay, and use that for next time. And I'm sure it's going to help you, right? And yeah, I'm going to wait for your response and then we can take it from there. I work as a data scientist in India in my late 20s. You're a baby. Well, it's all subjective. I'm 46, so I think of you as a baby. I know how the Indian market works for positions similar to me, but how easy is it to get job in another country like New Zealand or Singapore or European countries? Please shine the light. First steps to take, etc. Okay. First of all, it's good that you're being curious. Okay, I was in India till I was 26, and then I left and I did all kinds of cool things. And I have a YouTube video where I talk about how to get a job abroad, and I have 7 or 8 tips to help you in there. So check my YouTube channel, and you can see that video. It's from a couple of years ago. If you don't find it, just message me on LinkedIn and I can share it with you. Second of all, I take a little issue, small, teeny, tiny issue, when you say that I know how the Indian markets, I know how the Indian market works for positions similar to mine. Dude, you're in your 20s. You think you know a lot of stuff, okay? I was also like that in my 20s. I was like, I got this. Let me tell you, you don't know. You don't know how a tenth of what you think you know. I'm challenging you here. Open. Okay? Be more. Ooh, hello. And you might surprise yourself. Like, I'm 46 and there's no way I know everything about how things work in a certain area. Be careful when you say that. It's not always true. You might be surprised. Okay? Good luck with that. All right. Almost done. We're approaching the 30-minute mark. That tends to be my sweet spot. Serena, overall 50 applications. Oh my God, that is so frustrating. What do you think is going on here? This is something I would ask you if you were my client. What's going on here? Why do you think it's not being shortlisted? Do you think that the resume is not doing a good enough job? Do you think you're not applying to the right roles? Do you think you might be slightly over or slightly underqualified for some of those? First of all. Second of all, if some things are not working, we need to change things up. We need to switch. We need to switch a few things. So, for example, if the cold application route is not working, What about past employers, friends? When I say past employers, I don't mean like they can hire you back. I mean, people you used to know, you know, who can vouch for you. They already know you're amazing because you're a tried and tested product. Even if it's been 10 years, even if it's been 20 years, I would look at different ways to approach this. You know, I've reflected on each of these interviews to see what I could have worked on. I'm starting to get dizzy from all. Don't give up. I got a weird. It's so annoying. You can hear me, right? Should I connect to Wi-Fi as well? If it's gonna start acting funny. Because when I do Wi-Fi and LAN cable, something goes wrong. That's why I just did LAN cable. Can you let me know if everything is working and you can hear me and see me properly? Yeah. Yeah. Good. Check the videos. Yeah. I'll check those videos. I apply. I spoken and overcome. That's okay, dude. That's what we do. I got a 17-year-old. He thinks he thinks he knows more than you and me combined. That's okay. That's called the arrogance of youth. We live, we learn, we get hit a few, we bump our head a few times. That's the whole point. But the fact that you're even aware and the fact that you even acknowledged is really good. It's good. Um, all right. It freezes for a few seconds. Ugh, it's annoying. I'm sorry. Don't know why it's happening today. Last question. Let me take the last question, Bharat. It's from you again. Do you think some of the trending open source to nominally priced AI tools can be relied in the coding keywords, key phrases, essential skills from job? Yes, I believe it can be very helpful. It can be very helpful, but there are things that are like it depends a lot on what is recorded and what is stored, right? And what's publicly available. It'll never replace what's in your brain. So for me, the sweet spot is when both combine your innate knowledge that comes from experience as well as AI, because the speed at which it can find things for you is unmatched, for sure. All right. All right. And if you need any more help, Bharat, with like the career stuff, don't hesitate to reach out. We can schedule a game plan call and see if you need help. If you do, it's totally up to you. For anyone interested in how to go about making that happen, it's really simple. Just go to my page, superchargeyourself.com/game plan. There'll be a calendar and there'll be some questions. Keep in mind, it's not for everyone. Okay, I'm not able to help everyone, which is why I do these live streams to begin with, right? You need to be at a certain level of experience, at a certain level of seniority and certain level of income, because I can't work with everyone. All right. Okay. I think with that, I shall let you go. It's 29 minutes. Okay. Thank you for joining me live. It's really, really nice. And good luck with everything. If you're watching me right now and it's been a little bit of a struggle, like what Serena shared, I hear you. I see you. I've been there. Don't give up. Just keep at it. It gets better. I promise. Just try a few different things. Don't do things one at a time. Like one application, these guys call me for interview. I'm only going to focus on that. See how you can fire multiple guns at the same time so that things take less time, right? And if you think you want to get professional help, you know how to reach me. Reach out to me on LinkedIn, or take a look at that link that I shared to schedule a game plan call. All right. Have a lovely Friday and weekend. Bye.